Hello, I am embarking on a project that is really pretty special. This is a shoulder rig holster that was uh, owned by, used by our good friend, the Firearms Addict's grandfather, and the leather is in pretty bad shape. It's been used. It's probably got years worth of use and sweat and who knows what else. And I was asked if I could try to recreate it. And what I'm doing right now, I've got the holster itself, the strap system laid out here on a piece of manila folder, and I'm going to trace it. I'm going to cut out the pieces and sort of tape them together to get a feel for what I need. And well, we're going to make this thing out of brand new leather, and we're going to see if we can't make it so that it would be functional. So I'm going to try to shoot a little bit this as I go, and we'll piece it together toward the end, and maybe we'll have a finished product. So this isn't exactly an exact process. A little bit of estimating has to be done. So I've laid this out and got pretty much, but right down in here where things get interesting, without taking this apart, I can't really get into measure or figure out. So I'm just doing a layover and utilizing the other part of the strap that is hidden underneath. I just reversed it, flipped it, and that was how I got my angle that I wanted on this. I know there's a straight line underneath from what I can see inside, and then I just sort of had to lay this over and make an idea of what that little cutout is. So now I should have the two shoulder loop, the yoke, and the straight strap is easy enough to do. Next we'll be working on the holster itself. Well, I have a pattern sort of laid out. This is going to do a little bit of fine tuning. Now, I can lay this down on top of and I can trace around, but there are some places where, I can't get to. So there's a little trick that I use. If you insert a piece of cardboard or whatever you want underneath, then you can trace it and cut it out, and then you can use that as your template. You can flip it, you can do whatever you need to. I had to do that in a couple of little areas. I made one little tiny one for this cutout that goes right up here, because it's still attached. So without having to tear apart or destroy this beautiful old holster, I can make myself a pattern. Now I'll cut this out and I'll fold it over in half and see how well things match up. And what I'll end up doing is probably making a second pattern that has everything fine-tuned and cleaned up, so that whenever I want to lay it down on the leather, I can cut it out and it'll all be good. All right, I got the strap patterns scratched out here on the leather. Sorry you can't see the lines, but I can. And now we're just going to start cutting them out. All right, I'm finally starting into the holster body itself. I got the pattern traced out really good and scratched onto the surface of the leather. And now it's just a matter of going through and getting things cut out. Now, some of the inside corners I may just sort of bypass with an open cut and then come back in with a punch. Like right here is a spot that I like to put a round hole in that corner. It just makes for better, so that it doesn't tear later. So we'll keep out of here. So here's an example of one of those really sharp inside corners that if you cut that and you cut that sharp corner, it's got a real good risk of tearing out later. So take a punch and get all the way up into that little corner and punch a nice clean round hole. And then whenever you cut that out, you got a little bit less chance of tear out. A little bit less. Well, I just got a coat of stain on the holster body, and the yoke straps are hanging up over on the wall. And well, this should look pretty good tomorrow. This was a test piece that I hit before I did the rest of it, and it's going to have a little bit of a imperfect look to it. That was intended. This is an old holster, so I want it to look like it's had a little bit of use. Tomorrow we get to put it together. Well, we're getting there. I got her started to be stitched together. Glued the straps in and got the holes punched. I'll still have to fold it over and stitch that closed. Got to stitch the toe. It's got a pretty thick welt in it, and I still have to put on the straps and the buckles yet, so this isn't anywhere near done, but we're making progress, and I think it's looking pretty good. I think the finished product is going to be just what we were hoping to accomplish. Well, another day working on the holster, getting the toe sewn up, and really pleased with the way this is coming out. I'm going to finish stitching this and sand this edge, get it nice and smooth, and burnish it. And then it's on to the top half of it, the top closure, and then I can start putting the straps together. We'll come back with some of that when it's time. Alright, we got everything pretty much stitched together. We're just getting ready to stitch on the straps that go around the other shoulder, and just a couple of, an inch or two worth of stitch here on this. It won't take very long, and then we'll put the other one on, add a buckle, and this will be just about finished. So this is the holster that I was working with that needed to be restored, and it's in pretty rough shape, but there was enough there, and everything, you know, although the leather is pretty dry and had cracked apart, was able to trace all the pieces I needed to, and I knew where parts connected. Had to use new hardware, and I thought it came out pretty darn well. I also have another one to work on, so I'm not done yet, but we'll we'll keep working and get at least one or two of these down to the Firearms Addict. Thanks, buddy. This was a fun project.